Let's spark things up today. We're diving deep into Burning Down the Patriarchy, a guide to dismantling gender inequality. Connie Riker really lays it all out there.
It's not just a book, it's a call to action.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the problem and then, actually doing something about it. Creating a world where women, finally get what we deserve.
What's so powerful is how Connie connects the dots historically, showing how these systems of oppression were deliberately built.
Oh, for sure. And she doesn't hold back. She names names. Religion, democracy, the Industrial Revolution. She exposes them all.
She doesn't let anything slide.
No, she doesn't. Yeah. So let's unpack this a little. Connie starts by taking us way back to the historical roots of oppression. I mean, she even goes back to the Bible. The whole Eve being created from Adam's rib thing.
It's been used to justify female subservience for centuries.
Talk about a long con.
Absolutely, a long con.
And then, she doesn't stop there. She brings up democracy. And we think of that as equality for everyone.
Right.
But she shows how early democracy, they didn't exactly level the playing field for women.
Not at all. I mean, women couldn't vote, they couldn't own property, they couldn't even testify in court.
It's wild when you think about it. All these power imbalances are just baked into the system. Then she brings us to the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, it was a time of progress, technologically.
Yeah.
But, and this is what I find so interesting, she argues it also reinforced those really rigid gender roles.
Exactly. Men as breadwinners, women stuck at home. A total setback.
Ugh, tell me about it. Okay, let's talk about something a little closer to home. The wage gap. We've all heard the stat. Women earn 82 cents for every dollar a man makes.
Yeah.
But Connie, she doesn't just throw numbers at us. She really gets into the consequences.
Real life impact. Yeah, it's not just an abstract idea.
Right.
Connie shows how this affects women's health, their relationship, their ability to just build wealth, even their chances of escaping poverty.
It's crazy. She even tells this story about Susan, this woman who was on this amazing career path. And then boom, she has kids and all of a sudden her career just stalls.
That's the motherhood penalty in action.
Ugh, it's so real. It makes you wonder, can we really have it all?
It's the question, isn't it? Connie doesn't pretend to have all the answers, but she makes you think about the choices we're forced to make, the structures that limit our options.
Exactly. Speaking of burden, Connie also dives into this concept of invisible labor. All that unpaid work that women do, managing the household, the meal, the emotional labor.
Remembering everyone's birthday, making sure everyone has clean socks.
It never ends, and it's often completely unacknowledged.
Oh, totally. It's exhausting. Connie highlights the physical and emotional toll. It's like a second job that you don't get paid for.
A thankless second job. Oh, and then there's the pink tax.
Ugh, don't even get me started. Connie exposes this for what it is. Economic discrimination. Women literally charged more for products marketed to us. Remember that study? Women's personal care products cost 13% more than men's, on average.
It's absurd. It's like we're being punished for being female.
Yeah.
And Connie makes it clear this is a deliberate strategy.
Well, absolute. To exploit women, to keep us financially disadvantaged. And, it all ties into this pattern of undermining women's leadership.
Oh, yeah.
Connie talks about the glass cliff.
The what?
The glass cliff. Where women are promoted to leadership positions, but only in times of crisis.
So they're basically set up to fail.
Exactly. It's a tactic to sabotage women's advance, to reinforce those old ideas about women not being able to handle pressure.
Wow. It's like they give us a chance, but only when the odds are stacked against us.
Yeah.
It's infuriating, but it's also eye-opening. Connie really names these forces, these tactics of the patriarchy, and she shows how they operate on so many levels.
To keep women marginalized.
But here's the good news. Connie doesn't leave us with a sense of despair. She gives us strategies for fighting back.
For dismantling these systems. For creating a world where women can thrive.
And that's what makes her book so powerful.
It's not just pointing out the problem. It's about solutions.
So listener, are you ready to burn down the patriarchy? Connie's book is the ultimate guidebook for this revolution.
Seriously, it's a must-read. For anyone who's ever felt that sting of inequality, anyone ready to challenge the status quo.
And anyone who believes in a future where women are truly free.
Yes.
We're going to unpack so much more from Connie's book, so stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive. But before we go, let's just take a moment to acknowledge all that frustration, anger, the fury that fuels our fight for equality.
It's not just about fairness.
It's about reclaiming our power, creating a world that actually reflects our values.
Exactly. We're not asking for permission anymore. We're taking what's ours. And Connie's book gives us the tools to do it.
All right, listeners, we'll be back soon with more from Burning Down the Patriarchy. But in the meantime, remember, the future is female, and we are not backing down.
No, we're not. All right, welcome back, listener. We're picking up right where we left off, diving deeper into burning down the patriarchy. And this time, things get a little more heated. Connie tackles some pretty controversial stuff.
Oh, yeah. Connie doesn't shy away from anything. One chapter that really stuck with me was about motherhood. She doesn't sugarcoat it. She talks about the joys, sure, but she also exposes how it can be like a financial trap. For women, I mean.
Yeah, it's like society tells us, oh, be a mom, it's the most fulfilling thing. But then we're the ones who pay the price.
Right.
Financially, I mean.
It's messed up.
Total.
Yeah.
She uses Susan's story again, remember?
Oh, yeah. The woman whose career tanked after kids.
It's such a classic example of the motherhood penalty.
It's like we're expected to put our ambitions on hold,
Yeah.
family over career, and then we're the ones who get penalized for it.
Exactly.
So frustrating. And it's not just about the lost income either. It's the missed opportunity, the feeling of being like sidelined.
It makes you question everything. Like, can we really have it all?
Right.
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And Connie, well, she doesn't pretend to have all the answers, but she pushes us to think about the choices we make, or the choices we're forced to make, really, and the structures that hold us back.
It's about recognizing that, the system isn't exactly working for us.
Speaking of things not working for us, let's talk about reproductive rights.
Ooh, yeah. This is where Connie really gets fired up. She's adamant. Women have the right to control our own bodies, period.
Absolutely. And she lays out the facts. Did you know over 400,000 women worldwide are denied control over their reproductive health each year? It's a crisis.
It's a global crisis.
And she connects it to what's happening here at home, with Roe v. Wade being overturned, all the restrictive laws popping up. It's scary. It feels like we're going backwards.
Yeah, it's a deleted strategy to control women, to limit our choices, to keep us, in our place. But Connie, she's like, wake up, people. We can't be complacent.
Right, we have to fight back.
We have to. This is about our body, our lives. Okay, let's switch gears for a second. Talk about something a little more hopeful. Raising her daughter. Connie has this whole chapter on raising woke daughters.
That's what that chapter's about, equipping them,
Yeah.
right, with the tools to, smash the patriarchy.
Exactly. Raising a generation of strong, confident women who won't take any crap.
She gives some great examples, like the dad who gave his daughter tools for her birthday.
Yes, it's about showing girls they can be anything. They don't have to fit into those little boxes society tries to put them in.
No more boxing. And it's about role models, showing them women who are out there, breaking barriers.
Representation matter, it really does.
Big time. And speaking of powerful women, Connie talks a lot about female friendships.
Oh, those bonds are so important for our well-being, our strength. It's like a sisterhood.
It's a support system, a place where we can share our experience, lift each other up. Think about the hashtag #MeToo movement. That started as a hashtag, it turned into something huge because women came together, shared their stories, demanded justice. It's proof.
Proof of the power of female solidarity.
Exactly. And it shows the patriarchy wants to divide us. They want us to be competitive with each other.
It's classic divide and conquer.
Right. But Connie's like, no way. Our real power is in our unity, in recognizing our shared struggles and fighting together.
Speaking of fighting, social media, it gets a bad rap sometimes.
Yeah, people think it's superficial.
But Connie sees it as a tool.
A tool.
A tool for dismantling the patriarchy.
Whoa, okay.
Think about it. A platform for amplifying women's voices, connecting with each other, mobilizing. Look at what happened with hashtag #MeToo, hashtag Time's Up. Those hashtags sparked a global conversation.
It's true. And Connie even gives advice on how to use social media effectively, from crafting messages to engaging with influencers to building a following.
It's about using technology to
to challenge the status quo. Okay, let's talk about something super important. Economic empowerment. Connie's argument. Financial independence is key.
It's crucial for women's liberation.
Yeah, she's not messing around. Financial independence, it can be a tool for control, keeping women trapped.
Bad relationships or just limiting their choices.
Exactly. And Connie breaks it all down. How to negotiate salaries, start side hustles, invest wisely. It's about taking control.
Taking control of our own destinies.
Yes. And she stresses financial literacy.
Yeah.
Understanding how money works. It's about building wealth, securing your future, having that freedom.
Freedom to live on your own terms.
Okay, let's get into something a little sense of beauty standards. Connie argues that these unrealistic ideals are basically weaponized against women.
It's a form of control too, right?
Totally. It impacts our mental health, our self-esteem.
It makes us feel inadequate, so we're less likely to rock the boat.
It's messed up. She even tells this heartbreaking story about a young woman, Ava, struggled with body image, felt worthless because she didn't look like a supermodel.
So many women can relate to that. It's the power of the media, of advertising, constantly bombarded with images of perfection.
And it's damaging. But Connie, she doesn't just leave it there. She talks about self-love, challenging those beauty ideals, embracing our bodies.
It's about reclaiming our beauty, defining it on our own terms.
Okay, this next one might be a little controversial. Connie has this whole chapter about infiltrating the patriarchy, basically challenging the idea that we have to completely separate ourselves from men to achieve equality.
It's a different approach, but she makes a good point.
Yeah, at first, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's easy to see men as the enemy.
Exactly after everything we've discussed.
Right. But Connie's saying excluding men entirely, it actually just reinforces the gender binary and it limits what we can accomplish.
Exactly. It's about engaging men in the conversation, educating them, inviting them to be part of the solution.
Right. Because men suffer under patriarchy too, in different ways.
It's about recognizing this isn't about punishing men. It's about liberating everyone from these roles, these expectations. It's about creating a better world for all of us.
Like that. A better world for all of us. All right, welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into burning down the patriarchy. We've talked about, well, a lot. The history, ways patriarchy shows up in our lives, all of it. But, and this is what Connie's so good at, it's not just about complaining, right? It's about taking action.
Exact. And Connie gives us a plan, a real roadmap. One thing she really pushes is reclaiming our history. You know, like remembering those amazing women who came before us, the ones who fought for us to be here.
It's like shining a light on those who were, I don't know, silenced. Think about it. How many women, inventors, science leaders can you name? It's tough.
Yeah, and it's not because they weren't there. It's because they were purposely pushed aside. Connie gives these great examples. Ada Lovelace, the first computer programmer, but her male colleagues took all the credit. And then there's Rosalind Franklin, did all this amazing work on DNA, and, well, it was basically stolen.
It's infuriating.
Yeah.
But it also, you know, kind of lights a fire under you. It shows why this fight is so important.
Absolutely. We have to honor those women, keep pushing for progress. And speaking of progress, Connie also talks about female leadership. You know, it's amazing to see women breaking barriers, but it's not always easy.
Right. Being a woman in charge comes with its own set of challenges.
Yeah. Like, remember the glass cliff?
Oh, yeah. Where women are promoted,
Yeah.
but only when things are already a mess.
It's like they want us to fail, to prove that, you know, women can't handle it.
It's so messed up.
It is. But that's why it's so important to support each other,
Yeah.
to mentor, to celebrate each other's wins.
Totally. We have to build each other up. And Connie encourages women to run for office. You know, get into those positions of power where we can actually change things.
That's how we shape the future, by being the ones who make the decision.
And speaking of shaping the future, let's talk about voting. Connie reminds us this trait, it wasn't just handed to us. So many women fought for it.
It's our responsibility to use it, not just for ourselves, but for, you know, the next generation.
It's about creating the world we want our daughter, our granddaughter to live in.
Every vote counts. It's a chance to, like, push back against those who want to silence us.
Okay, let's go back to something we talked about before, building that feminist network. Connie's big on connecting with other women, both online and in person.
Yeah, it's about finding your tribe, the people who get it.
Ones who understand your struggle, who are fighting the same fight.
It's so important to have that support.
It reminds you you're not alone. There are others out there who want the same things.
And when we connect, when we work together, well, that's where the real power comes in.
So Connie says, get involved in your community, join groups, use social media. It's about building a movement, a global sisterhood.
And when we stand together, wow, watch out. Like Connie says, together we are unstoppable.
Okay, as we wrap this up, I want to share one last thought from Connie's book. She says, this fight for equality is not just about women.
Oh, it's about everyone. It's about building a better world,
Right.
A world where everyone has a chance to thrive.
A world where we can all be ourselves, live freely, and, you know, reach our full potential. It's a vision worth fighting for. And burning down the patriarchy, well, it's the ultimate guidebook.
It's a must-read.
So go check it out. You can find it on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books.
It'll make you think, question everything, and most importantly, it'll make you want to fight for something better.
That's what it's all about. The fight goes on, but remember, together, we can dismantle the patriarchy. We can create a world where women, well, where women don't just survive, they thrive. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.